Welcome back. All right, so 4 games tonight in the National Hockey League. Quiet night tomorrow. We got 14 games in the NHL, and then it gets really quiet in the NHL. All right, so we're going to start things off talking about the Vegas Golden Knights and the New York Rangers. So it's Hill versus Shesterkin in this one, and again, Adin Hill has just been fantastic since returning. So early jumps for New York. Panarin has a shot that's held as the Rangers press. Vegas then gets some pressure of their own 3 minutes in. Marchessault has a rush that's blocked, and then this goal is still given to Rempel. I didn't see Rempel touch it. I thought it was going to be Cotter's. I have given it to Rempel. Would not be surprised if it becomes Cotter's goal. But either way, it's Rempel from Cotter and Haig at 5:02. It was a screenshot. It's from the side of the net, and either Rempel tipped it or he didn't. Either way, being in that close could have distracted Igor, and it's 1-0 Vegas. The Golden Knights press for another. Rangers press. They're kept to the outside until at 6:31, Wheeler scores from Gustafsson. That one ends up being wired straight through Adin Hill, so it's a 1-1 tie. Lindgren ends up exiting on the hit from Kolasar. Pretty sure he didn't return. And you know it's not something minor because Ryan Lindgren is a cyborg. So if he's hurt and doesn't come back, it's got to be broken or not great. So we'll see what the update is on that. The Rangers looking for the lead. They have some momentum. We get a power play for New York. That's killed off. Rangers press with 3.5 minutes left. Lafreniere gets denied on a turnover. The guy just can't buy a goal right now, but I swear he's playing well. It's 1-1 after one. Second period, early power play for Vegas. It never really gets set up. It's killed off, but then on a turnover that Kolasar creates, he scores the goal at 3:18 to make it 2-1. He wires it on a breakaway, and then Marchessault, same spot, exact same spot of the net. It looked like a replay. Marchessault scores on their third shot of the period from Barbashev and Raw at 4:04. And so that's 2 goals on 3 shots. It's reminding me of Ottinger the other night, how it feels like burying it high glove side is now the go-to for players. I haven't seen like a chart on that, but it's got to be. There's just way too many goals being scored in that top corner on the glove side on multiple goaltenders. So Vegas presses at 6 minutes now that they're up 3-1. No Rangers shots 7.5 minutes in. They were really out of sorts. It was not a very good game for the Rangers at that point. Vegas presses 6 minutes in. A power play then for Vegas. That's killed off. Rangers press with 8.5 minutes left. Things get pushy on a hold by Hill. The Rangers press in the final minute with 35.3 seconds left. New York gets power play. So that rolls over into the third period with them down 3-1. Vegas finishes the kill, and then at 2 minutes and 10 seconds, Marchessault buries a rebound. Came off the boards to him. Barbashev and Raw with the assists. So Raw with a couple of helpers tonight. And suddenly it's 4-1 for the Vegas Golden Knights. Kreider has a chance that's held. Hill was nearly fooled on that one, but yeah, he sits on it. Rangers press at 8 minutes. Vegas presses. The Rangers block. The shots are 10-5 New York with 6.5 minutes left. Nice blocker save on Pitlick. It's cleared out after that. There's more Rangers pressure with 4.5 minutes left. The goalie pull happens with 4 minutes left. 3:37 left. The Rangers call a timeout. Eventually they get a goal. Kakko scores from Trouba and Wheeler, I should say, at 18:54. He buries a loose puck there. And then they pull the goalie again looking for another, which lets Marchessault get the hat trick. Barbashev and McNabb with the assists at 19:31. That's 8 goals in 6 games for Marchessault. And he'd been ice cold before that, so definitely on a hot streak now. Vegas wins this one 5-2. They go to 29-14-6 on the year. The Rangers 29-16-3. It's not looking great for the Rangers. Shots on net 15-6 Rangers in the first, 8-7 Vegas in the second, 16-6 Rangers in the third. They do outshoot Vegas 38-20. Power plays both teams 0-2. The hits 20-13 for the Rangers. Adin Hill saves 36 out of 38. Shesterkin saves 15 out of 19. And again, Igor just not putting up Igor-like numbers. Maybe the All-Star break and going to the All-Star game and enjoying himself. Who knows? Maybe Igor just needs a little bit of a mental reset here. Just looking at the board for tomorrow, the Rangers are in against Ottawa tomorrow. I would think Jonathan Quick starts that one. All right, next up, the Florida Panthers and the Pittsburgh Penguins. So it's Bobrovsky versus Nedeljkovic in this one. There's an early power play for the Penguins, and they score on it. Gensel taps one in on what's their first shot on net. Rust and Carlson with the assists at 1:51. There's a toe save on Barkov the very next shift. Bennett has a rebound that's held. There's some pushing. We then get a power play for the Panthers, and they score on it. It's Evan Rodriguez burying a rebound in close. Ekman Larson and Bennett with the assists at 4:52 to tie the game at 1. Penguins have a 2-on-1 that's broken up. The shots are 6-2 Florida at the half. The Panthers press with 9.5 minutes left. The Panthers getting some momentum late. Not a lot of shots during some of those presses they had, though. Carlson has a rush chance that's held. The Penguins press in the final minute, but it stays 1-1 after one. Second period. Panthers press a minute and a half in. Good forechecking by the Penguins, but the shots are 3-2 for the Panthers 4 minutes into the period. We get a power play for the Penguins. That's killed off. Gensel has a tip that's saved as the Penguins press. Eller's denied. The Panthers clear it out. Letang has a hit on Barkov. That draws a crowd. 5 minutes for Letang, but it's reviewed as Barkov exits. It was more of a collision than anything really dirty by Letang, but Barkov does hit his head on the ice, so it was a scary-looking incident on Barkov. Anyways, so it ends up being a double minor because he had a trip that was being called anyways, and then he had interference on Barkov. I'm fine with the interference call. That's the right call. So during the second 2 minutes of that 4-minute power play, Reinhart would score for Florida from Tkachuk at 11 minutes and 49 seconds. So it's 2-1 Florida. I just want to throw in there, this is like my 15th or 16th video today, so I apologize for any misspeaking that goes on. Penguins, and it's not my last of the day either. Penguins press draws them a power play. They end up with 22 seconds of 5-on-3. And the thing about that was Bennett gets 4 minutes. He gets 2 for unsportsmanlike conduct. On top of the penalty he was getting, I can only assume he lipped off the ref on his way to the box. So there's a shorthanded rush chance by Barkov that's saved. So Barkov did come back into the game. That's good. And yeah, Florida ends up killing it off. The Penguins press after it's done with 1:06 left. The Penguins go back to the power play. So the power play was really useful for them in the first when they got that first goal. But in the third period, the Panthers do finish the kill. The power play didn't help Pittsburgh the rest of the night. Florida presses are kept to the outside. Penguins go back to the power play, and it's killed off. Forsling fans on a likely goal. Malkin can't bury one as the Penguins press. Pettersson has a net drive. That's defended. 5:25 left. The Penguins get a power play, and yeah, it's killed off. Penguins press with 2.5 minutes left. Reinhart has a rush that's defended, and then at 19:18, Malkin ties the game. He scores from Crosby and Rust. So there's a lot of opportunities for Pittsburgh. Eventually, one's going to go in, and it did. That ties the game at 2. In the overtime, Panthers controlled early. Reinhart's denied. The Penguins rush. Things get punchy on hold by Nedeljkovic. Malkin steals. He gets a rush. Montour steals. He gets a rush. We end up going to a shootout. In the shootout, Sam Reinhart with the winner. So a shootout victory for the Florida Panthers. They go to 30-14-4 on the season. The Penguins 21-17-7. They really needed 2 points tonight. Shots on net, 10-8 Pittsburgh in the first, 15-10 Pittsburgh in the second. Both teams had 11 shots in the third. Final shots, 37-31 for the Penguins. Power plays, Florida 2 for 3. The Penguins 1 for 8. Hits 26-22 Pittsburgh. Bobrovsky was very good, 35 saves on 37 shots. Nedeljkovic also very good, 29 saves on 31 shots. Entertaining game? Absolutely. All right, next up. LA and Colorado. So yeah, this game got out of control early, and the Kings are in serious trouble. So I talked recently about, is McClellan's job going to be in some sort of risk? If it's not yet, and I've reported on it the last couple of days, and apparently it's not. That's what's being reported out there, but I don't know how much further you can go with this. Again, this is a team that needs that All-Star break. Maybe coming back from the All-Star break, they'll be refreshed and better. But it's Talbot versus Georgiev in this one. The Kings had the only shot on net 3.5 minutes in. So at the start, it looked like the Kings were playing their road game. Limit chances against and just, clog up the neutral zone and play your game and wait for your chance. Makar has a shot that's blocked and cleared. Laferriere has a shot that's kicked aside, but then on their third shot, it goes post and in. The Colorado Avalanche score. It's O'Connor from Girard and Georgiev at 7:44. So Georgiev with the second assist of the year. Shots are 3 apiece at the half. The Avs press with 9 minutes left. The Kings draw a power play. That's killed off. And then on a turnover, Logan O'Connor gets his second goal of the first period. Miles Wood with the assist at 14:55. So that makes it 2-0. And then at 18 minutes and 30 seconds, Nathan McKinnon, who has been on a remarkable, I think it's a 25-game streak now of points at home. And it's second in the NHL record books to Gretzky. So he's trying to catch Gretzky. All the best of luck to him. McKinnon gets that one from Drew and Ranton, and it's 3-0 Colorado after one. Second period, shots are 2-1 for the Avs, 2.5 minutes in. The Kings press are kept to the outside. We get a power play for the Kings. They score on it. It's Fiala from Laferriere and Doughty at 6 minutes and 20 seconds. He buries that one from the left circle. Avs then get a power play. It's 4 minutes, and it was Fiala that was in the net for those 4 minutes. So Makar's has a rush chance. That's denied by Riddick. who holds on, Riddick having taken over to start the second period. McKinnon has a stick that dies, so it ends up being cleared out, and that power play is killed off. And then Fiala's denied twice when he comes out of the box. So you got to watch the guy coming out of the box. And then at 11:44 on a net drive, Manson buries one, Cogliano with the assist. That makes it 4-1 for Colorado. Roy has a blast. This blocker to side. Shots are 10-8 for the Kings with 5.5 minutes left. Things get pushy and huggy on a hold by David Riddick. McKinnon has a chance to deflect out. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Moore has a near miss as the Kings press, but yeah, it remains 4-1 after the second period. Third period, there's an early power play for the Avs, and they score early on it. Basically, they just win the face-off and score at 31 seconds. It goes in off Doughty. It's Makar from McKinnon and Colton to make it 5-1. Teams exchange rushes. The Avs go back to the power play. It then becomes a minute and 19 seconds of 4-on-4. It all gets killed off, but the Kings go back to the power play. Fiala to Laferriere, near miss there. That power play ends up being killed off. Kaliev has a chance that's held as the Kings press. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. It's just there's lots of penalties at this stage. We get a power play for the Kings with 7:10 left, and that's killed off. And really, there wasn't much energy for the Kings at that stage. And if there was, Georgiev just snuffed it out. So 2 wins in 15 games now for the Kings. They dropped to 22-15-9 on the season. For the Avalanche, they're 32-14-3 on the year. Shots on net, 12-7 Colorado in the first, 11-10 Colorado in the second. In the third period, 10-8 LA. Final shots, 31-27 Colorado. Power plays, LA 1 for 5, Colorado 1 for 4. The hits, 15-7 for Colorado. Talbot saved 9 out of 12 before Riddick came in and saved 17 out of 19 in relief. Georgiev, 26 saves on 27 shots. It was just not the night for the LA Kings. And that's been far too common this year. So something has to give soon, I would think. All right, next up. St. Louis, the comeback kids, the Blues. Tomorrow night, we're going to be doing the power rankings. And they might move up on the power rankings tomorrow night. Just throwing that out there. So it's Binnington versus Decord. The teams exchange rushes. Kraken press at 4.5 minutes. McCann has a shot that's held to get a break. So basically Binnington deciding we need to get a whistle here so we can get a change. But the shots on net are only 2-1 for Seattle, 5.5 minutes in. Blues draw a power play. There's a post for Kyrou, and then Sundqvist scores on the power play. It was a cross-ice pass on a rush. So as they're coming into the zone, the second unit scores. Sundqvist, that one's from Schenn and Krug at 7:38. Scandella then has a rush chance, that saved. And at 10:17, Dumoulin with one that's posting in. He scores to tie it. Larson and Schwartz with the assists. So Seattle ties the game up. Kraken then look for the lead. Bjorkstrand gets denied twice at the net. Kraken are controlling it since tying it. You could just feel like more goals are on the way here. Pressed by Seattle with a minute and a half left. And Binnington's the only reason this one's 1-1 after one. Second period. Tanev is a one-timer that's saved. We get a power play for Seattle, and they score on it. All-star Bjorkstrand with the goal at 3:55 from Wenberg and McCann. Then that was a tic-tac-toe play after a save by Decord at the other end. So big save at one end, goal at the other. Kraken then look for another, and they find it. At 6:42, it's Tolvanen. It's another tic-tac-toe play. So no chance for Binnington there, and it's those backdoor goals that Blues fans hate to see. We saw those a lot last year. So Tolvanen gets that one from Gord and Bjorkstrand. So Bjorkstrand with a goal and an assist in the second period. Blues call a timeout. Whatever they talked about in the timeout, it worked. It's interesting when those timeouts work. Kraken draw a power play. Shots are 9-2 for Seattle with 9 minutes left, but that power play's killed off. Another power play, and then we get a power play for the Blues. Krug is denied, and then Thomas is not. He tips one in near the end of the power play. Perunovic and Buchnevich with the assists at 15:01. Blues press in the final minute, but yeah, it's 3-2 for Seattle, and you could feel the momentum had shifted. So, third period. But Burakovsky has a shot that's blocked, and then at 1:27, St. Louis ties it. It's Buchnevich from the left circle, Thomas and Kyrou with the assists. So all of a sudden, we're in a 3-3 tie. Parayko has a 2-on-1 chance that's held. The Kraken press at 4 minutes. We get a post for Kevin Hayes. The Kraken cleared out after that. Kraken press at 8.5 minutes. The Blues press at the half. Decord holds. So it's some back and forth pressure here. Wenberg's denied and close. The Blues press again with 4 minutes left. And honestly, Seattle might have been fortunate this one goes to overtime because St. Louis had a lot of chances in that third period. Not a lot of shots, but it felt like they had a lot of chances and a lot of zone time. But Seattle doing a good job, I guess, of blocking them out. So, in overtime, the Blues controlled early. Kraken win the next faceoff. They set up. They can't get anything out of that, though. And Thomas gets denied. The Kraken take over. Tatar's robbed at that end. And then, well, at 1:27, Buchnevich wires one on a cross-ice pass from Robert Thomas. And so Buchnevich, with his second goal of the game, wins this one 4-3. It's another overtime win. It's another comeback win. St. Louis is doing well. They're 25-20-2 with the win. With this overtime loss, it's tough for Seattle because they dropped to 20-18-10. But this is also a team they're fighting for that same playoff spot with. So it's not great for Seattle. Shots on net favored Seattle the whole time. I don't think this shows you how the game went. 11-5 Seattle in the first, 10-6 Seattle in the second, 14-5 Seattle in the third. In the overtime, the shots are 2-1 for St. Louis, including the shot that matters. Final shots 36-18 for Seattle. It may very well just be Binnington had an excellent game. So he was out and he was ready. So anytime those shots came in, he was in the right spot. But it felt like the more dangerous chances of the shots were in favor of the Blues, who went 2 for 2 on the power play, whereas Seattle goes 1 for 2. The hits 13-10 for Seattle. Binnington saves 33 out of 36. At the other end, Decord saves 14 out of 18. So it said 14 out of 17 on the app, but clearly it was 14 out of 18. They just hadn't counted that fourth goal yet, because I try to get these up as quickly as possible when the games are finished. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding tonight's games. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event that you have not already hit those buttons. And hey, thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.